I'm quitting. I'm quitting Hanon. So, over the past few days, I've been researching about Hanon for techniques or tips on practicing it. Instead of finding tips, I found debates. It turns out the book is controversial. I had a lot of teachers back then. Not one ever had something bad to say about Hanon, even in the conservatory. Come to think about it, nobody knew who Hanon was. Quoting Wikipedia, Charles Louis Hanon was a French piano pedagogue and composer, though the guy was never known for any music. He was trained as an organist by a local teacher, and it is not known if he received more advanced musical education. So, it got me thinking, how could this guy's exercise make you really good when he himself don't even have the musical merits? Also, how did the greatest pianist of all time ever made it without Hanon? But I'm gonna give Hanon the benefit of the doubt. I think Hanon wanted new pianists to address all the technical problems first so that when the time comes and you come across these problems, you'd be more than ready. That's good, but here's my opinion. For those of you who don't know, I work as a senior software engineer in my company. In software development, it is always tempting to address the potential technical problems first, so that when the time comes we implement a feature for a particular product, it'd be easy. The problem with that approach though is that addressing the technical problems first is a very time-consuming process. There's the brainstorming, thinking of scenarios that most likely will never come across, the over-engineered solutions that later on become bottlenecks, and premature optimization. Does it make the features you implement later on easier? No, not necessarily. Because we'll never know if those features will stay as initially discussed or somehow drop from the pipeline, thus rendering all the technical efforts worthless. Am I saying that we shouldn't address the technical problems? Nope. We can address the technical problems one at a time by working on every feature because every feature has its own technical problem. So, how does this apply to learning the piano? Let's imagine that I am the client. My piano skills is the product and the feature is the ability to play a particular piano piece. Now, each piano piece will require me to have developed a technique in order for me to play it perfectly. If I go hand in first and develop all the techniques so that I could play virtually any piano piece out there, before I start on the piece that I want, it's highly likely that it'll take me months before I could start playing on a piece that I want. Also, highly likely that I'll feel demotivated over the first few weeks and maybe rage quit along the way. If I start on a piece now, if I start on a piece that I want now, I'd only have to focus on one technique. I'd reach my piano goal earlier and I'd stay well motivated. Also, along the way, I get to develop my sight reading and music theory versus doing Hanon because the exercises are just simple patterns you repeat and you don't need to sight read it. So I started the approach days after my last video, and during that time, I've learned 4 pieces: Bach's Minuet in F, Minuet in G, Prelude in C, and one of my favorites, Chopin's Nocturne in E flat. The next weeks, I'll try to perfect the pieces and start working on Bach's Well-Tempered Clavier because musically I love it and technically it addresses a lot of technical problems. So that's all for now, guys. I'll see you next week. This is your frustrated pianist trying to be less frustrated one piece at a time.